Oh, yeah. Hello everybody, welcome back to This Week at MBE. It's Biggs and I on Sunday nights. I should have gotten here earlier, I realize, but I didn't. So anyways, there's a billet small block Chevy head in there. Those are for a comp eliminator car, so this he's doing a comp eliminator style. He's doing it all correctly, so I can't wait for that to get out there. I think it's B-altered, so that'll be sweet. It's one of my favorite classes. And not running a big block in B-altered, that'll be a small block. So yeah, very excited about that. All the good parts. Got an M&M small block, like, I don't know, I think it's like a 8300 deck height block. And M&M, as far as I know, those iron blocks are the only ones that have that stuff. So everybody keep that in mind if you're looking for specialty stuff. M&M out of Indy has those blocks, and they look really nice. Now here's the make to it right here. So this is op 1. So you can tell it doesn't have ports in it yet, but it does have something. Exhaust flange is all done. Those are really pretty, aren't they? I think they're gorgeous. Those things are nice. And then all the fasteners on the rocker bar. Of course, the port plugs, because this is a symmetrical head. And of course, we do a billet single dominator for this also. And that billet dominator also fits our cast symmetrical head that we do. So this is an 8-degree head right here for NA. It's 8x4. And this head goes about 498, 497. Just under 500. With the intake manifold on it, it actually goes 500. So we could say 500. And that's on a 1020 bench, not a 600. And then we just got some repair stuff here. Person had some damage, so all we got to do is just go in there and remachine the soft chambers in it. They're already valve jobbed and everything, and then all that'll go away. And we'll get this stuff shipped out to the customer. Repair stuff here. And then we got a set over here. The customer wanted a copper beryllium seat, so they've already pulled the seats out. So from here, they'll take the SERDI, and then they'll machine the seat bores. They'll put intake seats in first, then because these interlock, and then they'll go back in, and then they'll put the exhaust in. So you can see all of that, and then we'll come back over here. Waiting on an electrical part for that DMG, and then when that electrical part comes, we'll be running big 9 manifolds. I'll say we'll probably be running them for about 6-8 weeks. We have a bunch on order, and plus we want to make sure that we're ready for November, December, and things like that, so we can keep up with everything. There's another truck pull application here. This is using the M&M intake. This is our 18-degree max pull that we talked about. And from here you can tell a lot has to come off the intake flange to get this to fit. One thing nice about the 18 is it is a real oval port. A lot of port energy, 2,500 intake valve, and it actually makes power, especially at the one-piece rocker bar with all the fasteners and everything. Oh, that bad boy's heavy. And then you can see in there, I mean, that's a true oval port. Actually, let's show you. We can do that. And then we'll show the other one. So not a lot of taper rate like a typical conventional head would have, as much as 700 thousandths of taper rate from the short turn to here. You know, this has like 40 thousandths. So it means it'll be more efficient, faster on the track, things like that. But this, we offer an SR20. We don't sell any because this thing will smoke it. There's no real comparison. Really no comparison to anybody else that's got a conventional head as far as we can tell. And then this in here. Of course, billet manifolds. We got big 9s here, so these are they'll get these set up so we can get the valley trays made for them. While they're finishing up the valley trays, they'll be machining the billet intakes because that's what these are getting. So these are all finished. And then just this set of 4 500 bore space dirt heads right here. So they're finishing these up. And then let's come down here. Got some stuff into service right here, over here. And then this is a set of D3s. We used to do a bunch of those, but now the core boxes have been worn out in them for probably a decade. But I don't know why they keep selling them, because all they do is crap nowadays. We stopped selling them probably 15 years ago, the castings, because we had too many failures. But this set is good because it's an older version where the core boxes weren't worn out, and they're just in here for service. Man, I'm telling you, those have got to be almost 20 years old or 20 years old, a long time. It was like 20 years ago we set the Australian Pro Stock record with these, and it's crazy how far we have come from what this is to what we do small block wise. It doesn't matter if it's LS, General Motors, or the Ford stuff. It's the newer stuff is like, it's light years better. It is so much better. But hey, it was a very proud thing to set the record for that 20 years ago. It was, yeah, always good. I think we had the record in the 2000s for probably 7 of the 10 years, or 6 of the 10 years. Our cylinder heads were running, which was great. Really enjoyed it. It's a very competitive class with a lot of good racers and engine players. And then just up here we're servicing. This customer right here changed blocks. They're not going to use the hoops, so we had to go in there. We had to pull the top fuel hoops out, and then Ian goes back in here and welds everything. And then from there we'll deck it, we'll valve job it, we'll get the chambers and everything done, and you won't even notice that the weld got close to the seats. It's more visual than anything. And then these will be ready for the customer. And then come here. Not in there, no. These are cool. We offer these for the Big 9 now. These are 1.6 pounds. So this is a real carbon fiber valve cover. So we do offer these for the Big 9 now. They're pretty badass. They are 1.6 pounds though. I just weighed one, so 1.5. They're crazy how light they are. So if anybody's interested in that, we'll have those for it. I'm just waiting on parts for these. These have been here for a little while. We're showing you all the processes of this, and now it's now it's close to a finished part now. So we have the tape on there because we've already decked it, and then so we were mocking it up, and we didn't want to scratch the deck for the customer. So, but I mean, they look a lot better from where they came in, and they'll run better. So they'll have themselves a nice set of heads, no doubt about it. Put that back on there, and then we got these are 12 degrees. These are for the big port. So this is like for 460 inch, 470 inch, 480 inch. These are pretty darn big ports that we do here. This has got all the lightning done on it and everything. There's 2 sets here. They're ready to ship, so they'll go out. They'll go out later. So we have different programs for the different cam tunnel heights, all of that, so we can get the push rod in the right place. So if you are ordering a 10-inch deck block with a 1-inch raised cam, make sure that they tilt the lifters so you don't have to do all this BS. I don't know why they're making the blocks like that, but it's up to you to listen, because this adds a ton of cost and a ton of labor when all they need to do is put the lifters in the right location, and you can avoid all of this BS, because this is a bunch of bullshit work right here. And the blocks need to start being made correctly, because it's really backwards. It makes no sense. But yeah, so this is super nice here. This has got our flange exhaust guide on it too. Obviously this will either be in a Pro Charger or a turbo. The nitro stuff doesn't seem to need them. But you can see we run this flange guide. What happens, the exhaust comes out so hard on the turbo and the Pro Charger stuff that it just wants to take the guide board and it just wants to take the guide and just push it away. It's crazy the exhaust is that strong. There's so much energy there. But this is what we do on the top fuel stuff. We did that for years. We do the same thing on like the Brad Anderson platform stuff that we do with the Pro Extreme heads. So we just started doing it to anything that is Pro Charger, turbo, things like that. Like I'm not talking like 800 horsepower turbo. I'm talking like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, stuff like that. So we do these to the big nines also, and we did it to these, and it just makes everything last a lot longer. Just keeps everything really, really nice. It keeps it very rigid. If it works on a top fuel car, you know how to work on something like this. So some people might think it's overkill, but why not just keep everything nice? But that's it. That's all. What do we got here? Oh, we got a set of billet ends that we serviced here. This is an old set, not an old set, they're about 6 years old. These are on a truck puller. So in the Midwest, I believe they're in Ohio. So yeah, so that stuff's all finished, all on the epoch. You can, not bad for a 5-year-old set of heads. When they leave, they'll perform and look brand new. That's one thing nice when they come back here to be valve job. This stuff will really last forever. You don't have to worry about having the right angles, concentricity, or the people to work on it. But that's it. Thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you guys had a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.